Hello everyone, welcome back to the channel. Today we are taking a closer look at the strike on the Crimea Bridge and what it reveals about Ukraine's growing military power. This event has become one of the most talked about moments in the conflict, not only because of the target itself, but because of what it represents in terms of capability, planning, and strategic intent. The Crimea Bridge has long been one of the most important pieces of infrastructure linking Russia to the Crimean Peninsula. It is more than just a road and rail connection. It serves as a vital supply route for military equipment, fuel, ammunition, and personnel. Any disruption to this bridge immediately affects the flow of resources into Crimea and beyond. Ukraine's decision to target the bridge was not random or symbolic alone. It was a calculated move aimed at weakening Russia's logistical network. By striking such a critical artery, Ukraine demonstrated that it can identify and hit targets that once seemed out of reach. This alone marks a major shift in how the conflict is unfolding. What stands out most about the strike is its precision. Rather than causing uncontrolled destruction, the attack focused on specific sections of the bridge. This suggests careful planning and detailed intelligence. Precision strikes like this require accurate data, reliable guidance systems, and confidence in execution. The operation reflects how Ukraine's military capabilities have evolved over time. Early in the conflict, Ukraine relied heavily on defensive tactics. Now, it is increasingly capable of launching complex, offensive operations deep into contested territory. This evolution did not happen overnight. Training, international support, and battlefield experience have all played a role. Ukrainian forces have learned how to combine intelligence gathering with modern weapon systems. Drones, surveillance tools, and real-time data analysis now play a central role in planning operations like the Crimea Bridge strike. The immediate impact of the strike was disruption. Traffic on the bridge was halted or limited, creating delays and uncertainty. For military planners, even temporary disruption can have serious consequences. Supplies delayed by hours or days can affect frontline operations and readiness. Beyond logistics, the psychological impact is equally important. The bridge was seen as heavily protected and symbolically untouchable. Striking it sends a message that no target is completely safe. This can influence morale, decision-making, and the sense of security among opposing forces. For Ukraine, the strike became a powerful demonstration of confidence. It showed that Ukrainian forces are not only defending territory, but actively shaping the battlefield. This shift from survival to strategic pressure marks a new phase in the conflict. International observers quickly took notice. Analysts highlighted how the strike showcased Ukraine's growing ability to conduct high-value operations with limited resources. Precision, rather than sheer firepower, has become a defining feature of Ukraine's military approach. This method aligns with modern warfare trends. Instead of large-scale assaults, smaller and smarter operations target critical infrastructure. These actions create ripple effects that extend far beyond the immediate damage. The Crimea Bridge strike fits perfectly into this pattern. Russia's response to the attack was swift. Repair efforts began almost immediately, and security around key infrastructure was reinforced. This reaction itself reveals how seriously the strike was taken. Resources now diverted to defense and repairs are resources not used elsewhere. Protecting long supply routes is expensive and difficult. Every additional checkpoint, patrol, or defense system stretches manpower and logistics thinner. Ukraine's ability to force such adjustments is a strategic success in itself. Another important aspect is intelligence. Operations like this rely on accurate information about structure, defenses, and timing. This suggests that Ukraine's intelligence capabilities have improved significantly. Effective intelligence is often invisible, but its results are clearly visible in successful strikes. The strike also highlights the growing role of technology. Precision, guided systems, unmanned platforms, and real-time communication reduce the margin for error. These tools allow Ukraine to achieve results that once required much larger forces. From a broader perspective, the Crimea Bridge strike challenges assumptions about control over occupied territories. Infrastructure that supports long-term occupation becomes a vulnerability when it can be targeted. This forces a reassessment of how secure such regions truly are. For civilians, the situation is more complex. The bridge also supports civilian movement and commerce. Disruption affects everyday life as well as military logistics. This reality underscores how deeply intertwined civilian and military infrastructure can be during conflict. Ukraine has consistently emphasized minimizing civilian harm. Precision targeting supports this goal. While disruption is unavoidable, careful planning helps limit broader damage and maintain international support. Public reaction within Ukraine reflected a mix of relief, pride, and determination. Many viewed the strike as proof that Ukraine is capable of defending its interests proactively. Such moments can strengthen national morale during prolonged conflict. On the other side, the strike raised concerns about vulnerability and preparedness. When high-profile targets are hit, it forces difficult questions about defense effectiveness and future risks. Strategically, the strike may influence future operations. It opens the possibility of additional targeted actions against key logistical nodes. Each successful operation increases pressure and forces constant adaptation. The economic impact should not be ignored. Repairs to major infrastructure require time, materials, and expertise. Delays and costs add up, especially when combined with broader economic pressures caused by the conflict. The strike also affects international narratives. It reinforces the image of Ukraine as a capable and adaptive military force. This perception can influence diplomatic support, military aid, and long-term partnerships. Modern conflicts are fought not only on the battlefield, but also in the information space. Footage, images, and analysis of the strike spread rapidly. These visuals shape public understanding and reinforce strategic messaging. Ukraine's approach shows how smaller forces can challenge larger ones through innovation and precision. Rather than matching strength for strength, Ukraine focuses on exploiting weaknesses. The Crimea Bridge was one such weakness. As the conflict continues, both sides will draw lessons from this event. Defenses will be reinforced, tactics adjusted, and strategies refined. This constant cycle of action and adaptation defines modern warfare. The strike also reminds us that infrastructure is both an asset and a liability. What enables control and supply can also become a focal point for disruption. This dual nature shapes strategic planning on all sides. Looking ahead, the long-term effects of the strike will unfold gradually. Logistical adjustments, security upgrades, and strategic recalculations will continue. Each of these responses carries its own costs and challenges. Ukraine's growing military power is not just about weapons. It is about coordination, intelligence, training, and confidence. The Crimea Bridge strike brought all of these elements together in a single operation. It also reflects a broader shift in momentum. Ukraine is no longer reacting alone. It is actively setting conditions and forcing responses. This proactive posture changes how the conflict is perceived. For viewers trying to understand the bigger picture, this strike serves as a clear example of how the war is evolving. It is less about massive territorial gains and more about strategic pressure and disruption. In the end, the Crimea Bridge strike stands as a defining moment. It shows how far Ukraine's military capabilities have come and how effectively they can be used. Precision, planning, and purpose combine to deliver a powerful message. As events continue to develop, operations like this will remain central to shaping the conflict's direction. Ukraine has shown that it can strike with intent and impact, redefining what military power looks like in modern warfare. That's all for today's deep dive into the Crimea Bridge strike and what it reveals about Ukraine's growing military power. Stay tuned for more updates and analysis as this situation continues to evolve.